Oh, so so you get to meet Ashi. I don't even know why they call him Ashi, but Ashi lives in England now, and Ashi and I went to basic school together, and we sat next to each other at basic school. We were good friends. We play truck together underneath the basic school. Um, we stayed close enough right throughout primary school. Um, I think we separated at grade 4. He went to grade 5. I went to grade 6. And then we got back together again in grade 7, 8 through grade 11. And so we became very, very close throughout school. We were the tallest kids from grade 9 down to grade 11, 3 years. We were the two tallest kids in school. So they call us giants, right? Ashley was 6'5", and I was 6'4". I mean, I've been 6'4" since I was 16, 17. You always know that's tall and lanky. And Ashley's been 6'5" ever since we know him, because he always had me by an inch. Ashley, a good man, I must tell you. We remained friends up to when I left for the United States in 1984. He went to the police force, all right? And then I went to teachers college. So my teachers college days was in Montego Bay, and then he went to Kingston. I don't know where he went for training, but he was placed in Kingston. And then all of a sudden, he was in Montego Bay too. So we started hanging out in Montego Bay too, right? But when he went to the police force, he went into the force before I went to Sam Sharp. And tell you a couple of shoe story. Shoe, not true, shoe. So I went to college with one pair of boot that Ashley gave to me. It's a police boot with an iron front. I went to college with that one pair of boot. And then I had three pairs of pants. I remember what it looked like. One black one with a stripe, one pretty color one, and a brown one. The brown was what I graduated in. The plaid one, the pretty color one was, we had the guy who made it, the tailor. Both the black pants with the stripe and the pretty color one was made by a tailor. By the way, as you grow up, now we go and just buy a pair of pants and stuff. But when we were growing up, our pants, all our clothes was tailor made. Suits, everything were made by tailors. And so Ashley and I went to high school together. We spent a lot of time together. I think in grade 10, we became prefect. Not necessarily because we were the most upstanding students in the school, but because we were the tallest kids in the school, and they could put us in the line and say, "Man the line," and then think then go man the lunch line, or man the be a part of the security for the audience when we're doing, when we're coming together in the mornings, or or lunchtime or something like that. Just, we were tall guys, big guys, and they put us in charge. In fact, Ashley called us God bad man. So Ashley grew up very religious, as did I. But he was in the he was in Seventh-day Church of God, right there on the top of the hill in Arokobesa. And I grew up in a few churches, right? I was having a lot of questions. So when I left Church of God, I went to New Testament Church of God, and I went to Baptist, and I went to Seventh-day Adventist, And Ashi and I met again at Seventh-day Adventist. So he left his Church of God, his Seventh-day Church of God, and went to Seventh-day Adventist Church. And they had just started something down at Arokobesa. So Ashi has an impact on my life. And I remember something bad happened to him one time, and my ball immediately did. So I'm a friend, I'm a good friend, and anything that happened to him, I was hurting. And so, the one thing I remember, how Ashi gave me my only pair of shoe to go to college. Ashi was there for me. When we moved, we talked about tenement yard. If you remember in one of the videos, we talked about tenement yard, and we talked about moving from tenement yard into Mr. Puto's home, and we stayed at Mr. Puto's home. And I remember how Mama told me, well, Mama started to build a house. She bought a piece of land, 3.5 acres of land, about 3-4 miles away from Arokobesa, center of Arokobesa, a place called Wilderness. Wilderness, we live. I lived at Wilderness for 2 years before I went to college. All right, so Mom started building the house, and for 3 years the house was in erection process and thing, and when she finished 2 rooms out of 6 bedrooms. So that's what Mama used her savings to do. She was saving from all of the clothes where she sell and the perfume where she sell. Those days, some of the perfumes that we consider nothing right now were the big time brand in those days, And so when she sold clothes, whether by grip or by car, she saved her money and was able to buy a piece of land and to build a 6-bedroom, much bathroom, 3-4 bathrooms, and a 2 kitchens, something like that. No, I don't remember exactly. Maybe 2 kitchens. One was a big kitchen, and that was hers. And so she had finished up 2 of the rooms in 1977, and my sister who died, she said, this is Mama who told me, said, we were living in rented apartments and we have 2 bedrooms already finished. Well, we are come from 1 bedroom, so why not just move out of the rented place and move into our own place? And so I remember Mama got a truck and we packed up the truck one Sunday and we moved. That was also a somewhat traumatic. Not as traumatic as my move from tenement yard, but traumatic enough because I was moving 3 miles now from the center of where I grew, 3 or 4 miles. And so where we now would be living, our friend is the ocean. The ocean is just across the street from my house, and deep waters. And so, 2 bedrooms, and we lived there for a minute, all right? Well, Ashi and I became good friends, and as I said, we were good friends. And when I moved, he would come and visit me, I'd go and visit him, or we meet at church, Seventh-day Adventist Church on Avenue, and I still have a lot of respect for him. We talk to each other sometimes by phone, but mostly by Facebook. Him know more about Rockabest than me. I talk to Rockabest. Oh my God, talk to Indian Donovan Jones. There are 2 Donovan Jones in our class. I grew up with 2 Donovan Jones, 1 short and 1 long. So they call them short Donovan Jones and long Donovan Jones. So short Donovan Jones. I don't know where he is now, but he worked on a ship for a long time. But Ashi, I remember, there are days when we would be, as boys, want to run a boat, and we would go to the bushes, look breadfruit, for example, and come and build a big fire, 6, 7 bread. That, hey, listen, me could eat? No, me couldn't eat. Ashley was a eater. When we put breadfruit in a fire, all we needed was oil. So, and he can verify this. I'm not. There's no fibbing here. No need to fib. We'll put 7 breadfruit a fire, and Ashley will eat most of those in one go, not lifting up and going anywhere. All right. Ashley will eat 4 of those easily. All right, with salt and oil, because you can't eat the breadfruit dry by itself. It don't stop at your throat. But if you have a little oil or like butter in a miglite, gone clear. Just go down with a little wash. Well, Ashi could eat 4 breadfruit by himself easily, and I'm not lying. All right, and so after we don't eat them the breadfruit there, all we need to do is to just run to the ocean. And in a no time that the food there is like you never had it before. Ocean make you hungry again. So, but Ashi, a good man. Still love Ashi. We haven't seen each other in a long time. He lives in England. But I needed to do this on him because he has had that impact on my life. With that one pair of shoe, Ashi, you changed my life. And I tell you what happened to that pair of shoe. I was going to wait until I get to college here, but I can't wait. So that one pair of shoe took me almost an entire year. It was probably about 8 months into the year. But that shoe, one pair of shoe, was stinking up the place because it's a boot. Walking it every day. It's the summer all the time, and it stink at nights. And I had a roommate, and I couldn't keep my boot inside the room, so I had to put it on the outside. Actually, I had to put it on the outside of the of the dorm. All right, and every night I'd leave it out there. Then I get on, go get a shower, and then get my shoe and go to class. Right. Well, one morning I got up. Now, keep this in mind that I never cursed a bad word. I never used an expletive until I was in college. All my years growing up, I grew up like I was not a kid who goes around and does bad stuff. My mom loved me for that. Coming to give her no trouble, okay? So me never cuss bad word in all of my days until I reach college. And that shoes made me cuss bad word. The first time, after that, boy, my mouth has not been mine. And so when I came out the morning to get my shoe, well, I was going to go to the shower and then get my shoe. I saw my shoe, a lot of water. I stepped in water. And I said, what the hell? Anyway, I looked down. That was my shoe. Filled, both of them, filled with sardine and water. Pack up my shoes. Yeah? Man, that college lit up that morning. I mean, completely lit up. And I have a friend, another friend in college named Laro, who came out and saw me. You know, that man, I've been through it, you know, I tell you. So I lit up, and anybody who come out at that time, and I was never a fighter, but anybody who came out and said them do it that day, they would have been feeling my fist and my foot and everything, because I was so mad. And so Laro came and calmed me down and brought me to his room. And he says, yeah man, here's a shoe, here's a pair of shoe, wear this. So here's another good Samaritan. Okay, me never have no money when I go to college. Right? I'll tell you about that when I get to it. Here's another good Samaritan who's still my friend up to today. He's in Canada, who says, here is a pair of shoes that you can wear to go to class. And at the time, I wore a size 12. He gave me a size 9 shoes. Right? When I put the foot in there, and I feel like all of my eyes were popping out. But I had nothing else to wear. And so Laro saved me from going barefoot in college because me didn't have the money to buy nothing, no more shoes. And Laro had 2 pairs and he gave me one, a size 9. And he says, borrow this. And it never got returned to him because by the time he done with it, it couldn't fit him. My size 12 foot stretched that shoes out over time. I looked at a picture the other day of me in college and I was wearing that and I sent it to him. He says, yes, I know that shoe. But I didn't have any money to buy a pair of shoes. My mom was already in America and soon I was home, but soon I had no money. When I went to college, I went to college on a string. You understand? I went to college on a string. I remember I took the entrance examination at 10th grade, the beginning of 10th grade, and I left it because you know what? I never even thought I would have gotten even an acceptance application. I didn't even think about that because I don't feel common entrance and technical exam. I don't feel those. I really didn't have any hope. The only thing that kept me was that I knew that I was bright in school and teachers would tell me how bright I am. And so that made me apply for college. In fact, it's Mrs. Waite who brought me, she's still there. She brought me that application and said, fill this out, Arthur. She called me Arthur, all right? I fill it out and send it off. And it's 1 year later, year and some months later, I got a response that says, come for an interview. I was so surprised. I was so shocked. And I don't know why I start this because there's so much stories to tell, all right? It's going to go a little bit longer than I want to. I was dating my ex-wife at the time. And when I found out that I needed to go to this interview at college, Montego Bay, I had no money. And I remember I was at her house and she lived in Islington. I don't know if I walk to Islington or I take bus because I never really had any money. And more times when I go look for her, I walk from Port Maria to Islington to see her. All right. I go walk early in the morning. That's 8 miles one way. All right. And so I think I may have walked. It was a Saturday, and it was the Monday that I needed to go for the interview in Montego Bay. And I went up to her. And we were talking, and I told her, "Boy, I don't really have any money to go to college for this interview, but it's important. I'd love to be able to go to. None of my family never go to college yet. I'd love to do this." And so, Linda, I love her bad. No matter where in the world I go, even though we have divorced, I have the highest regard for her. I love her bad. I spent 32 years with her. Okay, we have a lot of problems, but I always remember this moment that she went inside. She was living with her aunt. She went inside, and I don't know if you remember the oil pans. There's some oil pans, cylindrical pans that they used to the oil. That's what they put in a car engine, right? It used to come in can, not bottles. It used to come in can, shell, and it was a shell oil pan that she went and brought out. And this woman was saving 25 cents. Jamaican 25 cents was a big coin that looks like American 50 cents. It's a big coin, 25 cents. She was saving those in the can. And after she was done, what am I saying? She went inside her room, got the can. She used an opener to go around the can. And when she turned it out, it was $8.25. I mean, I forget that because these are important things. It was $8.25. And she just handed it all to me and say, go to Montego Bay. I took that and went to Montego Bay. And I'll tell you the rest in the next videos. All right? Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Ashi. Thank you, Laro, for putting me on this path. So 3 people. Ashi, we started talking about Ashi. Talk about Laro, who gave me the second pair of shoes. And talk about Linda, who gave me that opportunity to go to Sam Sharp Teachers College.